Lucknow Super Giants now. Everyone's had a nice meal of what their renaming process eventually yielded. And here they are now with 59 crore in the kitty. And KL Rahul, who you think would have been the hottest pick the minute Punjab didn't retain him for the new franchises. God knows what he would have gone for had he landed up in an auction. But he is going to be now the joint highest ever paid player at an IPL with 17 crore. So Marcus Stoinis is there. Ravi Bishnoi. Interestingly, Stoinis and Bishnoi as choices 2 and 3 to form their core. Let's go to Aakash. There was some eyebrows raised when Stoinis was taken in. Ravi Bishnoi too. What do you make of Lucknow, and how do you see them approaching this auction, Aakash?
See, Ravi Bishnoi is a steal. When we've spoken about Rahul Chahar and Yuzi Chahal, they are the two Indian leg spinners who's third in line. It was Ravi Bishnoi. So if he were to be in the auctions, you would have ended up spending a few more, maybe 5, 6, 7 crore for all we know. So that's a good pick. Marcus Stoinis, I think, in terms of the skills that he brings to the table, already on this show we've discussed that that skill is not there. There's a scarcity for that skill. Marcus Stoinis gives you batting, gives you bowling. 9 crore, is that the fair price? But then that's all right, because that skill set, in my opinion, is extremely important. That's why Andre Russell is retained. Hardik Pandya has now been drafted. You try and get these kind of players if they can bring two skills to the table before the auctions. KL Rahul, the undisputed choice. Just small correction. Punjab, you said, didn't really retain him. The fact is he didn't want to be retained. So yes, Punjab must have wanted, but the fact is the boy wanted to go somewhere else. And his captaincy will be once again under the scanner. And now that he's the captain of a fresh franchise, what I really want to see is, because he's also been now like heir apparent to Rohit Sharma for Indian cricket going forward. So just pick the team, because now you are the captain and you're a captain before the auction has happened. Now pick the team the way you want and then lead it to success, because that's something. There's been a criticism, fair so as well, because too much chopping and changing. Punjab was one of the few franchises, just a couple of franchises who ended up playing so many players in one season of the IPL that baffled you. They didn't play Shah Rukh Khan for plenty of matches after doing well. So those things have happened in that franchise. Let's hope that they get things right. But of course, a lot of options are still available, right? Rather opened up. There are no fast bowlers. You need to get fast bowlers. You need somebody to partner Rahul. You need middle order. There is nothing there. Again, you look at Indians. We'll say get Indian core, but there is no Indian core. So just pick wisely. There aren't too many options available, unfortunately.
It's an interesting point you make, right, about KL Rahul. Still an unproven captain, you think, even though he's led as Test captain, now he's also led in limited overs, and he is the heir apparent, like Aakash says, but hasn't enjoyed the happiest times leading at Punjab. Let's ask GS now for a franchise that we can't really go by what their philosophy or culture is. So I don't know how hard it made his job to try and predict how Lucknow would go. Would you just have to rely on individuals, what KL Rahul is like, what Andy Flower tends to do?
Yeah, so Andy Flower is a key point there. He's been a fairly successful short format coach, right? But again, how much influence does he have? It's a completely new franchise. Everybody will be excited. There'll be a lot of opinions, a lot of suggestions. They need to kind of decide all that in terms of who's the decision maker. Are they going to leave it completely to Andy Flower? He scouts pretty well. Most of his teams, they have some really good T20 stars. They have a style of play. So is Andy Flower going to be the most influential person there? I don't know. We'll have to see. They have Gautam Gambhir as well, who has won IPLs, and he has very, very strong opinions about certain players, certain styles. So we have to see how all these people come together. That's going to be very important. Or are they going to leave it completely to KL Rahul to do the kind of the role he wants to play? What kind of an opener do you want to see KL Rahul as? Does he want to play 2018 KL Rahul? Then you need to have a support team like that. You need to have a batting unit like that, right? Or if KL is going to play a more responsible innings, to the innings, then you can concentrate more on the bowling. So these are things we'll have to discuss. They'll have to discuss. We'll have to see how they go about doing this. So very hard to predict. But I think if you ask me, just leave it to Andy Flower and Gautam Gambhir. I think they'll put some really good, strong team on the path.
Yeah, that dressing room shadow dugout chat won't be short of strong opinions. You can guarantee that. Andy Flower and Gautam Gambhir in that. So Dan Vettori, the owners, have a good record in their short stint in the IPL. They made a final in the second year that they had. Of course, a lot of hybrids from CSK and RR in the 2 years that they missed out. But Stephen Fleming perhaps did enjoy his time at Pune, where they made a final. So perhaps it is a team that can get things right even quickly?
Well, it's obviously a good start with Andy Flower there. I think he's obviously a fantastic coach and someone that they can build the franchise with. And plus KL Rahul, I think he's a fantastic player. And I would like to see him play in that 2018 mold. I think that has the starting point for an amazing franchise, that if he can play with that freedom. And it seemed like he put so much responsibility on himself when he was with Kings 11 to bat in a certain way. And I think there's this destructive nature that can set up a game for this team. And maybe just a new franchise, new freedom, he may feel like he can play in that manner. The Stoinis one's an interesting one for me. There's no doubting his talent as a player, but it was a 10 crore or 9 crore, I'm sure. That would have been fascinating where they could utilize that in the auction in terms of putting that towards local talent again. I think that's something that they're going to be striving for, like every other franchise, but them more than others will be pushing for how can they build their Indian core as quickly as possible, and having an overseas player who is not always selected in a team at the 10 crore mark may hamper that a little.
Naga, what are you hearing from Lucknow?
Nothing much, but they are a sort of ambitious set of owners, isn't it? He's never kind of hidden that, Sanjeev Goenka. So expect him to definitely put big money on it. They bought Ben Stokes in 2017 for a record sum of 14.5 or something like that. So they would go for that one player straight over on the marquee. Who's that player? No one knows, because they already have broken the bank to get KL. So who's the other player, and should that be a fast bowler? Should that be, there's not much an all-rounder, should that be a Shah Rukh Khan? The most people talk about him as the best power-hitting finisher right now in Indian cricket. There's nobody else. So it's about that. They need 8 players to build their team firstly. So, and 2 slots are what they would want in the marquee list. So Shami possibly, they won't break the bank for that, but I think Shami is one guy who's played with KL. So instead of, if they don't get Kahi, so they go for Shami. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting.